Hi everyone out there, Teddy Namiola is my name and I'm your host with
Juko Letitia.
Welcome to the show. You're watching Elevate. Elevate is a show where we, the youths, are looking out for problems that fellow youths are facing and we are trying to get solutions to these problems.
Yes, and last week's episode we were able to tell you how to identify the perfect business idea that is going to suit your needs. We talked about factors like passion, we talked about things like your strengths, and we talked about things like the problems that are facing your community.
Yes, we also talked about facts like going to expose, you rub shoulders with these people who have businesses and you can generate a business idea. Now today, and in this episode, having identified your business idea, having looked out for an idea that suits you best, we're here to talk about location. Where are you going to set up your business? You're not going to set up your business in a random area. Before you set up your business, you're going to have to look for the best place, the perfect place, the fertile grounds for where you're going to put your business.
Yes.
And in this episode, that is what we are going to give you, right, Letitia?
Yes.
We are definitely going to help you, give you tips on how to identify the best location. Having gotten the startup capital and identified that business idea, we are looking for where you're going to place your business. Let us take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back from that short break. You are still watching Elevate. Remember, Elevate is a show where we, the youths here, are looking out for problems that a youth out there is facing. We identify this problem and we give you a solution. So, in today's episode, we are looking at where are you going to locate your business. Now that you have startup capital and the idea, where are you going to put your business? So, Letitia, how important is having a strategic location or getting a strategic location for a business?
Well, having a strategic location is actually very vital to your business. You can have a very beautiful business idea, but the moment you place it in the wrong place, it's just going to all go to hell and it's not going to work out at all. So having the perfect location is what's going to assure you of profitability and sustainability of your business. So one of the points that I can actually talk about this location, when you're considering a location for your business, you must always consider accessibility to this place. You need to put your business in a place where people are going to be able to access it. Your business has to be in a place that is easy for it to be reached by the customers, and for you even there have to be no obstructions for your customers to be able to access you. Now imagine you have a beautiful business idea, maybe you've set up your food stall somewhere, and then maybe your target market are office clients, but then you establish your business far from such an office establishment, meaning your location is making you going to lose out all the profits that you would have gained, and it's going to make reaching your customers very difficult for you.
We can also speak of a local supermarket. There are some local supermarkets where the parking space is actually very small.
Yes.
So if at all there is another supermarket close to that supermarket, you find that people would have preferred the other supermarket will end up going the other side because
it's more accessible.
Exactly, because it's more accessible. They would rather go the other side where they can park their cars other than getting into the other commotion. You find that there is someone out there who is selling their local food, but being that they're in a place that is hard to get to, hard to reach out place, you decide that you're not going to go for that local food.
Yeah, I'm going to opt for something easier, like Glovo.
Exactly.
I'm just going to swipe on my phone and everything is just.
And you're going to order online and say, I'm not going to go through the hassle of getting to that person.
Yes.
But just imagine if that person had set up their local food area in a place that is actually easy to reach out to, in a place that is accessible.
Yeah.
That person would be getting the customer like Letitia, who is now opting for Glovo.
Yeah. So now when you speak about accessibility, there's a business that I know that has been very successful due to this.
There is a woman out there who is selling her very delicious local food. But because it is that place where she has positioned her business is a hard to get to area, you're going to find yourself leaving that food out. And
I'm going to opt for easier things.
Exactly.
I'm going to opt for Glovo, and she's missing out on that money that she would have gained.
Yes, you may want to eat this food, but you're like, how do I get to this? This is going to be difficult for me to get to that area. So at the end of the day, you're like, let me opt for something that is easier.
Even if your business is is actually accessible. But now you're selling food, then you position your business near like a dirty place. That's location. No one is going to buy your food if you're really positioned in over Amwala or something like that.
And we can also talk about someone having a boutique, but then for you to get to that boutique, you have to jump a trench.
Yeah, and not everyone is athletic like me.
So it's raining these days, and that's so much. So you're like, why would I go through the hassle? I'm going to pay my money to get this.
Yeah.
So you decide to opt for some other boutique that is well positioned, yet you'd like to be a customer to this person. If at all you set up a stall having babies' toys at a hospital, just next to a hospital, that would actually bring you very many customers.
That's true.
You realize whenever children see toys, they quickly run to these toys. So just imagine a child from a hospital, a crying baby, and seeing these toys just next there. You're going to earn yourself very many customers. That is very strategic.
By the way, even before you go to hospitals, there's a basic example of schools. Okay. We have very many teachers who actually know that the students in the schools, these guys are ever looking for what to eat. 10:30 you're eating, 7:30 in the morning. Like there's always something going on. So these people, they are innovative people. They decide school canteen. What are you going to put in the school canteen? You're going to put basics that the kids like. You're going to put chapatis, you're going to put some samosas, maybe some kebabs or chaps, that stuff. And you're going to make a lot of money. Because
that's why I find that our canteens at school as well are stocked with other essentials like soap.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So knowing your target customers is something quite important because it earns you a lot. You should look for a location where your target market is going to access you. On that note, let us take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back from that short break. You are still watching Elevate. Just remind you all, Elevate is a show where we are looking out for problems that the youth are facing, and then we find one or two solutions to these problems just to help the youth elevate their lives. Having spoken of points such as accessibility, as you look out for where to locate your business, and then knowing your target customers, we can also look at rent and the rent you're going to pay for that area where you are going to locate your business.
Yes. So speaking of rent, we are going to look for an area that is within the income that you're going to make for your business. You're not going to expect you to pay using your own personal earnings to pay for this rent. That's just not sustainable. If you have to scale your business and then find a suitable space for this. If you cannot really afford getting a room in a building, get a container, buy a container. It's long term and it's going to be yours. If you cannot afford setting up your shop maybe at Village Mall and compete with all the Woolworths and stuff, there's always space for you in town.
Still speaking of rent,
yes,
we can also look at you getting a small space, just a small space, because I know the bigger the space, the more expensive that rent could be. Yes. So you can just get a small space, use that small space in the best way you can, and that is going to help you cut that kind of expense.
But Teddy, you might not even get a space. We have now online business. Online business has become so popular ever since COVID-19 lockdown. Right. So these people are actually just opening Instagram pages. Maybe you have your WhatsApp business line, stuff like that, where you're going to be posting, and actually the only cost you're going to incur is data, because even though your customer orders, from my experience, if you order something, you have to pay for the transport and everything.
You all realize that if at all you're working online, it is rent-free, totally rent-free. Like Letitia has mentioned, you're only using your data. That means you're not going to go through the hassle of paying for the rent. You're not going to be worried that landlord agenda kunsaba rent away, or my shop is going to close due to rent. So keeping that in mind, having maybe to do your business online, if you cannot afford that kind of rent, that could actually work for you.
Yeah. By the way, even though we are not talking, if we are talking about rent, okay, yes, you must keep in mind that when you're selecting a location, you should also consider regulations within that area. Acceptability in the area. You have to make sure that where you're putting your business, it's going to be accepted by the general community where you're going.
Setting up a place, or when you're looking for a location, you should look for a place where your business is going to be acceptable.
Yes.
Because if your business is not accepted in that very area,
you're not going to make
any money.
Yes. Speaking of acceptability, your business might be accepted, but then you put your business in a place where there's a lot of competition, which brings us to the point of competition. competition in the area. So you're going to consider an area for your location. You're going to consider an area where the competition is low or maybe just minimum. Low and minimum are the same thing, but yeah, where the competition is less. So if you're maybe like selling, you want to do your popcorn store or something, don't go and line up with like 10 other popcorn guys.
I have a problem, Letitia. There's a way when you go out there to buy chapatis, you find 5 chapati stores. I don't know what these chapati men best on to do that, but that is not something that is advisable, because are they under a certain company you keep on it? Because there are 5 different chapati stores and they're selling the same product.
Well, Teddy, for them, if they are doing that, maybe for them they are gay. Maybe the area that they are in has very many people that are able to support all of them.
It would be advisable if at all you find that there are people selling chapatis already. At least sell popcorn.
Yeah,
sell kasoli.
Diversify the market within the area.
Exactly. I wouldn't want to reach there and then I don't have a variety. I just have to stick to maybe buying chapati. But if at all I found that there are chapati men here, but then there is also someone selling popcorn, I would at least go for that.
Yes, but as we are talking about competition, you may not necessarily diversify, but if you go in an area and the products are similar, maybe you've talked about the chapati guys. This person is selling chapati. Now for you, I've seen guys who nowadays they sell pizza. I don't know how they make the pizza there, but yeah, for you now you can bring in, you can do your rollers, sorry, not rollers, sorry, slang. You can bring your Rolexes and diversify the market within the area.
Let us look at the population of the area.
Yeah.
If you're someone out there and you want to start up a business, don't look for areas where you have to look for the customers yourself.
Yes.
Go to one area that if you're in that area, customers are going to look for you.
The human traffic has to be very high.
Exactly. That the customers are there. The customers are many. For instance, if at all I'm someone who is going to run my mobile money shop, I'm having that mobile money, I'm not going to look for an area that has no people. I'm going to look for an area maybe next to a bus stop, because I know there's an assurance that I am going to get customers. As people move to board, there's someone who's going to make a car withdraw.
There's someone who's going to deposit. Exactly. There's always something that's going to happen.
So it is important, if at all, as we look at locating businesses, we actually look at how the population of people in that specific area. On that note, we have an expert here with us that is going to enlighten us and dive deep into this topic. So let us welcome Edna, the expert.
Well, before we even get into the location, we need to think about the things that come with a location. Having a location means that you have all the costs that come with having a physical store. You'll have to pay the rent, you'll have to pay a person who will probably be in that store, you're paying for water and power, so be prepared to take care of these costs. Now, to be able to run such costs, you need a location that is visible to the target market that you have. When you're choosing this place, how much foot traffic is going through there? Because that foot traffic is the one that the more they pass by, they might not buy the first time, but they'll remember your store when they need to buy whatever product it is that you are selling. Then the other thing you need to think about is affordability. Definitely, this one should come at the beginning. You should be able to manage the cost that comes with this place. You need to be in a good place that is also not going to turn off some of the people that you want to buy from you. Then you need to think about the other businesses around this location that you are going to take up. Do they complement your kind of business? Because that way you will actually get in more walk-ins because they feel like they need to get something else to go with whatever it is they have bought. There's a reason why almost every mall has an anchor tenant. This anchor tenant takes care of the foot traffic that will get into this place. Now, whether they go to the other malls is how you position yourself, but the numbers will definitely come. The other thing I think you need to think about is, you've talked about affordability, visibility, the access to where you are. Is there a parking space? Of course, depending on who you're targeting. If you are targeting university students, you probably are not looking for a place that has parking space, but you're looking for a place that is channeling or funneling people somewhere. Are they going to maybe the biggest restaurant in that place and they'll be able to see you? Are they going to, we used to have one of the gates at that Makere. There were so many shops around there, and you would always remember, I need a pair of jeans, this is the shop, because they are on your way, whether you're coming or you're going, you're able to see them. Then I think we should not forget that while we are thinking about location, we all have prime real estate on our phones. That one you're not paying for. All you're doing is dealing with the cost of data, and then being able to understand how your customers expect to be responded to, how fast you respond, and then to work out a delivery system. Because if you decide to be online, all you're worried about is maybe storage, and if you're starting small, you can do that at home. Yeah. Then another way to think of location is see whose location you can piggyback on. In town, we all know that many times the shop is being occupied by more than one person. So if you're starting out small and they can give you a corner where you can put maybe a cabinet if you're selling jewelry or whatever it is you're selling, and they can give you the space for you to see, to place what they can look at, but you have your stock from which you deliver. That's another way to start out. And what that does, it also helps you to learn, because you're sitting with people that have done this before. You're able to learn. You're in a network of people that have been doing this for so long, and they will be willing to help you. And you'll also know when a good shop or a good location opens up, you'll definitely be the first person to know, because you're right there.
We are always grateful to our expert Edna, who is giving us different tips on how to manage our businesses. Today, she has given us insights on how best you can choose a location. I hope a youth out there has benefited, and now you know how best you could be able to locate your business.
Yes, guys, don't forget, today we talked about factors like competition, we talked about accessibility of the area, we talked about
population
in the area. So we await you guys in our next episode. It's going to be a surprise. We are not going to tell you what we are going to cover, but you should know it's going to be very interesting. I have been your host, Juko Letitia.
Teddy Namialo. Thank you for watching Elevate. Tune in with us next time. Bye-bye.